Mm-hmm. Hello, dear Starshines. Welcome to today's Lunchtime Chats. My name is Christina with Lightbody Academy. And welcome. I'll pause here and give everybody a second to log on and say hi, let us know where you're from. It's great to see all the different Starshines, how we're scattered all over the place. And there's more and more of us every day, which is a beautiful thing to wake up to. Hello, dear sister Lavana. Hello from foggy Santa Cruz. Then we have Wholeness Integration Mastery. Ooh, nice handle. Hi, Danielle here. Yep, gotcha. And Andrew. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? They're from Southern Colorado. And then we have dear Paula. Hello, dear Paula from Florida. Sunny Florida. Welcome, everybody. All right, so I guess we'll just get rolling here. So like I said, my name is Christina. I am an acceleration expert, and we are here to talk about topics and issues that are significant for us starseeds and wayshowers. We have perceptions and abilities that are not embraced perhaps by our larger human family. Therefore, we have much different perspectives of what's going on, and we have very unique pieces to share with each other, right? And I do the best that I can to provide a liberated perspective on these highly charged, polarized issues, topics, problems, subjects, right? So welcome. Hello, dear sister, brother Tony. Hello, beautiful people from Michigan. And Carol, hello, Carol, good to see you from Minnesota. All right. So there's, I've been thinking about some stuff. Dear Sister Starshine in our Facebook group, Rise of the Multi-Dimensional Human, she ended up posting, I think in there, a question. It was Joanne that was posting a question. It was a statement about using fire to open up the pineal gland and how that works. And it was put in the context of a question of what my 2 cents might be. So I actually took that post and also posted it in our Telegram group, Multidimensional Human. And one of the very first responses, this is really what I want to talk about, because I think this will be really helpful for folks who are on their journey of waking up to who they are multidimensionally. Their response was, well, it depends on who's doing it. Right? Which is so true. So what I want to walk through because this is a perfect opportunity to show old paradigm mindset and new paradigm mindset. So I want to talk about that comment through that lens, okay? Because as you guys know, I talk about old and new paradigm all the time, and that these old paradigm ways of doing things and ideas and basic, default givens that we operated from are no longer the defaults anymore. So we are going into a time of unknown, and at the same time, we're not starting from zero. We're starting from already having a planet full of life happening. So this is really this. So we get to witness that transition of old paradigm into new paradigm with biosuits, with a consciousness that is in the 3D level. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah. All right. And so let me go back to fire gazing. The comment was, and I didn't copy and paste the whole thing, so I have it here, but it was pretty much saying something about the light of the fire was stimulating the pineal gland and therefore opening the third eye. And that if you do that practice regularly, flame gazing every night, then you will eventually open up your third eye. Okay. So as a multidimensional, looking at that statement, we're going to hear something very different than probably a person who is, still pretty mainstream asleep, right? And part of what I hear in that is that your third eye opening and functioning and operating is all dependent on stimulating the pineal gland. And for me, in my experience, especially with my experiences going through the dark room piece, I can't resonate with that, right? It just doesn't work for me, because having your third eye open without doing all the other work of your overall wellness of your system really doesn't help you that much. You still have to go through toxic shit. You still have to do your shadow work. You still have to wade through your baggage and all that stuff, except you have a lot more scarier movies in your face while you're doing it. Other people, they're just kind of, they're just going through with their senses. They're going blind doing it, So, opening that third eye and having those abilities is far, far, far oversimplified to the point of being misinformation. And so I want to go through some points about that. Hello, dear Sister Polly. Good to see you. All right. And so one of them is that, our brain, our thoughts and emotions that we have as brain waves in our being have an electromagnetic charge. They have an electromagnetic signature. Okay. And when you have many people having similar thoughts and feelings, that creates a collective electromagnetic field. You see what I mean? Yeah, right. All right. So that field, your personal nesting doll of that field, but also the collective nesting doll of that field, has to be at a certain harmonic existence inside of yourself before your third eye can open in a way that benefits you. And the experience I have about that is when I did the first time in dark room in Thailand. It was it was Jazz Maheen. I talk about this experience pretty often because it's really profound. If you guys ever get a chance to go do that with her, it took days and days and days for the brain waves of each person to equal out and harmonize. That means the electromagnetic signatures are chaotic because of our thought forms and our feelings and our reactions and stuff like this. And it took 3 days of focused meditation, breathing exercises, clearing energy, not to mention the months of preparation beforehand going into the dark room. It took all that preparation in order for our brains to be able to maintain a harmonic electromagnetic wave within our being, okay, that allowed our multidimensional abilities to come online. When I say multidimensional abilities, I mean, what happens is that all the DMT, after your brain waves are harmonized, right? After this electromagnetic harmony happens and then collective resonance happens, your pineal gland has the right circumstance, the right frequency to open up and release all the DMT that it's been storing in your body. And it collects DMT because you're never seeing daylight. So that means that it never gets turned into melatonin, serotonin, and it just stays in its raw form. So then it opens up, your brain waves are in harmony. It doesn't matter that you're in a pitch black space because you are now walking, waking, and sleeping through the dreamtime realm consciously. Okay. That's how much preparation it takes for a human to be able to navigate with an open third eye. And these aren't just any humans. These are humans that do this. We get together and do this, and they quite literally reprogram their body from the inside out. Some reprogram their body for wellness, for getting better, for healing certain like diagnoses and stuff like this, imbalances. Other people were going there to actually just reprogram their body so they become so resonant with pure life force energy, all their cells become fully nourished by just the prana, the life force around them on the earth. They quite literally reprogram their cells to behave that way while they're in the dreamtime state. You see? So this is a really, really powerful, powerful aspect of the human being for us to tap into. All right. So that part is okay. Hi, Beverly. Good to see you, dear. Now, when we take a step back a minute, so we have all that electromagnetic harmony happening. The third eye opens, the DMT gets released. You're having full body visceral experiences walking through dreamtime, waking and sleeping. Now, when you leave dark room, and this is where the big, profound, and some of the I get blown away, is when I leave dark room and go into the sun, which we usually choose something close to sunset. You're still in that altered dreamtime state. And then you go out into the outside world, which in this case is this beautiful jungle paradise. And it's like quite literally being born into the dream of the mother. It's like being reborn on a level that I don't even have words for. So it takes about 3 more days for the DMT to relax in the body and you to get out of that experience. So you spend the next couple of days, at least I do, spend the next couple of days in dream time, but with daylight. And it's a whole different kind of thinking. It's a whole different kind of reality. So if you give someone that does that kind of work the task of candle gazing, right? Candle gazing could be an amazing mythical experience. And I'm gazing at the candle by me now. If you relax enough and become still enough and listen with every fiber of your being, you can start to connect with all the other humans in the collective that shared that resonance, that electromagnetic experience inside their brain of staring at candles or staring at flame. You can go and now resonate with humanity going back before time was time. So for us, the candle is a portal, right? For somebody who has very locked down awarenesses, this is an outside tool to maybe open them up to something else. So the star seeds that are here nowadays are quite extraordinary because all the things that when I say we, I'm talking about the older generation star seeds from decades ago, that have been around for a long time. We had to work really hard for these things, piece by piece, step by step. And even though we felt like we worked hard for these things, it was even less work for us because of all those who came before us that were doing it, So, and for me in my life and opening up to things, it's gotten to the point where I just need to hear it once and it touches something and I know it's something, you know what I mean? It's like, I have a pretty good compass with that kind of thing. But that's not how a lot of humanity is because of this lockdown stuff. But the more, we turn everyday things into extraordinary experiences with our awareness, the electromagnetics that we resonate with and engage the outer world with start to build on a collective level. I hope this makes sense what I'm trying to say. It's a bit, it's a bit abstract, but I feel it. I feel like it's so clear, so clearly. The other thing we can be doing with practices like these is connect with each other in real time, in real person. And I want to plant this seed for those star seeds that feel really isolated, or maybe feel isolated and only are communicating online, but are kind of sick of being online, are overloaded with the electricity, with the technology and, stuff like this. Because there's a lot of people I know that are reaching that point where the online stuff is right. Play with connecting with a friend, staring into candle, gazing into candle. And how you do this is that you have something that you share that you focus on. So in this case, it'll be the candle, but then you add an additional vibration to share, which is saying a statement or singing a song. So sit with the candle, sing your song or say your statement, and then relax, wait, see, you know what I mean? And just be with the candle. People, when you really relax, you'll start to see other people's frequencies coming through here, and you can maybe get a whiff of their smell, how people have a scent. You might see a silhouette of them within the flames. You know what I mean? The flames will start conveying things to you. And there's great lore that talk about connecting with fires, connecting with all of the ancestors. It's even connecting with all of these star elders. So you can use flames as doorways for that kind of connection. But this thing about depending on who's doing it, this is a big deal, because if you're harmonics. If your brainwaves are not harmonic within your being, or you're living a really imbalanced life, you can be with that candle experience and there's not going to be much happening for you unless it's time for you to wake up, right? Unless your higher self tells you it's time to wake up, and then it's that one moment that you need to wake up. But we got to recognize that there's a lot of teachings that we have going on in the old paradigm that's just, it's dumbed down to the point of being inaccurate. And it's, as we move out of the old paradigm attitude of, if I do the right formula, then I will become this, or if I do the right formula, then this will happen. If I do the right formula, then that will happen. I'm talking about formulas that work for someone else, and then you try it and it doesn't work for you, right? There's this thing that's happening, an internal revolution that's happening. And that is, when you're ready inside, when you're ripe for it, the light bulb will strike or turn on right out here. There'll be something out here that turns on the light bulb, and then your knowing is on. It's all, you're getting downloads, you're getting understandings that you didn't ever had before. That's how it is for the star seeds nowadays, right? So there's, I hope I'm making myself clear about that, because there's this really interesting dance going on, the old paradigm, new paradigm. And there's so much confusion because the things that used to work over here don't really work over here. Then there's all these people over here that really want to step out, and maybe what worked in the old paradigm will work, that would be that one catalyst trigger, and then they quickly leapfrog into the new paradigm over here. That's how I'm seeing the dance going between old and new paradigm and the different worker and the energy workers. It's really quite interesting. All right, let's see. Wow, 20 minutes, that's all. Okay. Yeah, so we didn't have a lot of other questions come in besides those pieces. So if there's anything going on with you that you have questions about, or having some experiences you'd like advice about, dreamtime or whatever, you can go ahead and put that in. Old versus new. Yes, all sorts of ways. So the trick is that these star seeds coming in are poised. Their switches are already there. They just need one event to click it on, and then a major activation happens. I was wondering, leading up to 2012, and you guys let me know if you felt this way too. Leading up to 2012, I was totally like, it baffled me on how in the world all of humanity can switch its consciousness, like to awaken to what the true human values are in the world, right? The true value system that feed life instead of destroys. Because we are all on, back then, we're all on our spiritual path, we're on our personal evolution path like that. And we were doing all this really hard work and we were still barely getting there ourselves. You know what I mean? So with that in the perspective, I would be like, man, we're working this hard doing this. We're so completely dedicated in doing this. And how does the rest of humanity have a chance when they don't even know that most of this stuff exists, right? It's like, what the heck? But now that I'm seeing this with those star seeds and those switches, I'm seeing how it's working. I totally get it, because people are completely asleep until switch, and then all of a sudden they're awake and they have to figure out, scramble to get a handle on life again. It's really, really quite amazing, and it encourages me. And I want to share one more story with you guys with another person that I met who was way older and getting switched on. And he had a profound story. Actually, I'm not sure what he does, but our discussion was about art, his art. He has extraordinarily multi-dimensional activating art. It's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, amazing, amazing. We were in conversation, and he told me that he just recently got activated about 6 months ago. And ever since, he's been doing this really extraordinary art. I remember one of the pieces that he showed me, it was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like struck, like deep to my soul, struck. And tears in my eyes. I was so touched by this pen and paper, art that he did. And it was just so activating. There were so many pieces to it, right? And he's like, yeah, I have all this art that I do. And he started showing me like little videos of, he does rocks, like 3-dimensional art and all this stuff. And it was like super, super interdimensionally activating. And it was just like 6 months. That's all he's had to digest all of these frequencies, right? 6 months. And then he told me this amazing story about how we got activated. And this is the part I really want to share with you guys because it's astounding, but this is exactly how it works. And because this was something similar for me. When you start remembering, all right, so his story was all his artwork he signs with a specific kind of symbol, right? And oh, wait a minute, I'm off a little bit on the story. So he's been doing the art for a while with these downloads, and then he got activated to a whole nother level 6 months ago. That's what it was. So he's already doing that, and he signs all his art with this little symbol. And he tells me what activated him to this next level, that he's like searching for anybody that can connect with him and explain to him some of what's going on. Is a piece of a special kind of art that gets etched into bone. There's a name for it. And he talked about the etching, this kind of art, and he was given, or a bone that was etched like that came into his life, and it was from 25,000 years ago. It was like a bear tooth or something like this. They had this kind of art on it, and then he turned it over and he said, "You see this symbol?" because the artist signed it. That symbol is the symbol that he's been using for all his art. And as soon as he had that past life recognition that he was doing this art thousands and thousands of years ago on this planet, in this timeline, it completely blew him wide open to a whole nother level of who he is. And I mean, it's a really far out there, cosmic level of existence, right? Like really close to the very nature of creating, like when things start to come through the veil, the threshold, right? Really cool stuff. But anyway, this is the kind of thing that happens that open people up to their multidimensionality, is you get connected with another part of who you are beyond this face, beyond this identity. You get connected with who you are in another lifetime, a parallel lifetime, an alien lifetime, another universe lifetime, a future lifetime. You know, like any one of those kinds of aspects of you reconnect with. It activates something within your light body, and you're cooking. All right. It's amazing. It's really quite phenomenal. And these star seeds are just getting popped all over the place. And even those who, maybe wouldn't consider that label as something that applies to them, it's like, it doesn't matter young or old. It's just, it happens when it happens. And once it happens, you're just blown wide open for a while until you figure out how to negotiate life in that state. And it's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle. I never dreamt that would be a possibility for humanity, and here we are. Here we are. Yeah, it's a dance, Polly says. Yeah, it's a dance, indeed. All right. So, let's talk about, speaking of who you are in other levels, and speaking of interdimensional play, dear sister Starshine, Stacy, one of the facilitators here at Lightbody, is doing a dragon play workshop. Now it's dragon play, but don't let the lightheartedness take away from the profound nature of working with dragons. I want to let you guys know that is in the works, and it's going to be happening the first Friday. It's 6 weeks long, and it will be happening the first Friday, starting the first Friday in May. And we feel like it's something really, really great to do for the Lightworker community, to just open us up to, tracking, going into the unknown, just getting exposed to places and perspectives and ways of seeing that normally we wouldn't get exposed to by ourselves or in our already existing immediate circle. You know what I mean? Because there's something really interesting that I've discovered working in groups. I'm going to pause on that, and I'm going to address dear sister Shanu. Has a question. She says, "Hi, Christina. Today I saw my aunt in my dream. If possible, can you please let me know about this dream? Thank you." All right. She has already transitioned a few years ago. Yes. Yeah. So dreamtime is a very common space for past loved ones to contact you, because they are still in that portion of them is still in that 4D field, you know, and in the dreamtime dreamscape is that 4D field, the nesting dolls of it. And then within that 4D field are doorways to higher realms of existence. So yeah, that's definitely the way that they'll contact you. So if you wanted to flesh that out, think about grandma, sit with a candle, right? Think about grandma and try to revisit the feeling you have in the dream, or revisit the feeling you had when you first started recalling the dream, or when you woke up, and invoke that feeling and sit with it, letting it just be, you know, just noting what you feel in the body while you have that feeling going on, and what kind of thoughts come while that feeling's going on. And you can open, like I said, was saying earlier, you can open the doorway with flames, gazing into the fire, or you can just send a message into the fire to your aunt. I didn't mean to say grandma, to your aunt. You know, I'm thinking about you, Aunt Mabel. I love you. I really appreciated this aspect about you, or thank you so much for being in my life, or I miss you. You know, you can say any of those things, and you know, blow that energy so it's focused on your hand, and actually deliver it to her by putting that energy into the candle. So your intent of that getting delivered to her is what carries it. And of course, the very nature of flame, the candle. Okay. So the veils these days is so thin. It does not take much to make contact. It just takes focus. It also takes harmonizing the electromagnetics, the brain waves inside of you. And I can talk about that a little bit more, like what kind of brain waves do you want? So most humans are completely imbalanced in that they are predominantly beta waves, and they don't have many other brain waves happening in the scope. So if you can have an equal alpha beta waves, that's a really happy, healthy state of being that's engaged in this world and feeling happy and relaxed and joyful, okay, and at peace. That's the kind of brain waves you have going, alpha and beta, and that's the electromagnetic signature you have, right? For those who can see into alternative realms while in the waking state, we're going to have some theta delta frequencies also working and happening while the beta alpha waves are going. And this is all right. So this is where a third eye opening is really important to take note, that if that third eye opening was happening and you were not able to allow the abstract brain waves of the delta and theta, okay, the information you would get would be completely polarized, because you can only see it with this much of your awareness, with this much of your capability of perceiving and engaging, right? So that delta, theta, alpha, beta has to be very well harmonized, and the quadrants need to be harmonized. So you're stimulated in all the ways you need to be stimulated. You're at peace in all the ways that's important for you to be at peace. And then you can have like the waking dreams. You can have being awake in your dream. You can have you know, when you're just go through your daily world and you're seeing different things come out from the corner of your eye, different energies and all that. Then the unseen world behind the veils becomes married into this realm when you're able to have all those brainwaves happening at once. You know, so that beta thing is so important, because people believe that there's the real world and then there's the spiritual world, and they believe that they're separate, and they keep them separate. That's old paradigm understanding. That's not how it is, right? It is together, and it's only together can we get to the level of consciousness we need to get to, because you know, to get in right relationship with this planet, to save the life on this planet, save ourselves, save our children, our grandchildren. All right. I was wondering what was she wanted to convey. Ah, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I get the sense it's more of like you called her. Like you're in some kind of situation that has a similar resonance to something she's lived, and you're looking for what to do, or you're, you know, in the process of problem solving it, and she's there to support you. So Yeah, very interesting. So that resonance, guys, that electromagnetic resonance, really, look into that. Look at what you can do to influence your own electromagnetics. It's really worthwhile, especially if you are concerned with the 5G stuff and the cell phone stuff. And, especially if you're concerned with the frequency manipulation stuff. You can definitely influence your electromagnetics, which does influence those sorts of fields, EMF fields, right? So this is a something worthwhile to wake up to and get command of, in my opinion. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? I didn't come with a lot. I guess I got it out real fast. It usually takes me forever to spit it out, but it turns out not this time. It didn't take me very long to get it out. Let's see. Did I finish all my thoughts? Let's see. Did I finish all my thoughts? The star seeds need one thing to click on. Yep. Is she my guide? Do you want her to be your guide? Do you want her to be your guide? Yeah. There's a really interesting pattern arising in the collective. And I think it's, I posted a thing in the Rise group about it. I'm not sure if it made it over to Telegram. And that was Philip Lindsay's astrological take on the whole situation of the great slap, the shape and size of resistance, shape and size of resistance. Okay, hold on a second. I just jumped in the middle of the conversation. I don't have the whole thing. I'll return to that thought about what he said about the astrology let me finish the thought, and then I'll go on to these. The thought is that this really strong masculine Aries energy and the violence that comes with it. And I'm just going to say this because I'm noticing that the collective in general is extremely volatile right now. So that's the females inner masculine, that's males inner masculine, that's the ones in transitioning in between. Everybody's, masculine side is coming to a crisis about its tendency or what it finds drives its aggression. What kind of aggression do we allow, do we tolerate, do we condone from our men? And I mean this in a collective sense. And dear Starshine, I'm seeing all kinds of awful stories unfold with a lot of violence towards women. And there's a dear Starshine in our community whose friend died. Her husband, I think it was her husband, for many years, beat her to death. It's like this stuff's really happening, and this is this masculine energy that is completely imbalanced, inverted, is coming to the surface because we need to see it. And it's like, now this is where we make this conscious choice to learn something from it, do something differently, take it to another level to alchemize it, or do we just continue on status quo, right? I'm willing to bet that people that knew that woman knew that her husband was violent with her, so there's these aggressions that are coming out that people just are not able to control themselves. What we can be doing as multidimensionals in this process is take this to heart, start digging in deep on your own inner masculine imbalances, start asking yourself, what situations do you let yourself get angry and volatile towards another person, right? Use it as a catalyst to drive yourself more inward in how your own electromagnetics is participating in holding the collective field, right? Yeah, maybe I should say that again. Really look at how your own electromagnetics is participating and helping anchoring in that particular field. Yep. Okay. Dear Beverly says, do the meditation health tech devices more destructive than harmful? All right. I think there's some typos in there. Right. I really think the jury's out on that. It really depends on the intention of the creators and the intention of the people using it. My particular device was actually recoded by some elemental allies of mine. And it's interesting because I didn't even ask them to do that. I knew immediately when I heard about it, I needed to buy it, and I jumped on it. And my very first use with it, they took it and did some kind of recoding. I don't really know, and they're not really telling me. And then they gave it back to me. And I feel like mine is fine, right? Obviously, because I use it, but I think it really depends. It really depends on the all these other things, you know. Do you really trust the person who's the manufacturer? Do you really trust the energy behind the technology? Why are you actually using it? Are you using it as a avoidance mechanism, or really to help give yourself a leg up to get to another level? I mean, there's so many parts to that. Thank you for asking that, Beverly. All right, wholeness, integration, mastery. I have been doing my meditation with eyes open and engaged, and it helps me a lot in a daily life to stay in that electromagnetic, like watchful, calm, engaged, and joyful. Nice. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys realize this, but there are mystery schools of the closed eyes and the open eyes, right? My first exposure to open eye meditation was at a Zen. It was a Zen temple, Cloudwater Zendo. I'm not sure if it's still around. It was here in Northern Ohio, where they would look down at 45 degrees in their meditation. And in the beginning, because this was years and years and years ago, in the beginning, I was not a very good meditator, in my opinion, and the eyes open kind of was a hindrance. But then I went to go sit with a guru, with my yoga teacher, and got profound lessons from that. One of the biggest ones, that I'm not a guru person, but I totally appreciated what he was offering, because I went into the most deepest meditative state that I ever was in before with him. And then I was able to take it into the Cloudwater Zendo meditation and have experienced that same state, because it was just, a day later, and at that 45-degree angle, and that totally activated me. It's like, wow, this is how you are engaged with the here and now, and in this altered state of being. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant realization there. All right, the shape and size of resistance, going on to Joanne's thing. Yeah. So that's one of the techniques we use in the academy for feeling into resistance, is that you feel into, when you're aware that it's there, and it's active, as in the emotional charge is there and the mental thoughts are there. You start turning the inner eye and start getting a sense of the shape, size of what's happening. Now, if you're really abstract in your awareness, a lot of times people will start to feel into the shape and size and realize they're like feeling into this thing that is massive on a collective level, like going into like the center of the Milky Way stuff, massive. But anyway, but that's a good focusing tool, because then you can look at the charge and engage with it in a way that's not your thought or your feelings about it, right? And then you can really start using some other tools, because you've changed your perspective, to start moving and helping that resistance move along on a level that is a lot less challenging, a lot less charged. It just takes the meditative focus to be able to do that, right? It's really difficult when your rest of your ego driver is fighting tooth and nail, right? To maintain that kind of focus, to clear yourself. All right. I'm very curious about tracking. What is that? Oh, tracking. Okay. Tracking is the art of following energy to its source. It's following energy to where it's coming from. Yeah, and it's a multi-dimensional skill set. In the old paradigm, it would be referred to as Jaguar medicine. And I've actually had some beautiful, profound moments with some Jaguar medicine shaman in this lifetime that just taught me so much. There are tracking is different than just psychic knowledge, right? And the difference is that you're actually using your feeling senses, all the different levels of your being, to feel and sense energy and follow it. And when I say follow it, you're following, going into something letting it be in the unknown, which takes a particular state of being. It's really difficult for humans to let themselves go into the unknown, let themselves be taken into the unknown, or to even have something unknown, completely unknown, revealed to them. So tracking is an art form because of that piece right there, that you're letting the energy take you into the unknown. But really, that's the only way to discover where it goes, because, where things come from is energetically is the way to addressing where things come from energetically is the way how you clear something for that all the way from someone's being. There's a lot of activations and trimming hedges, and there's all these other things that are all useful, but proper application. So it's tracking that we use to unwind intuitive blind spots. So blind spots are in the form of highly charged mental, emotional electromagnetics. You see, and we practice following that. And then we also practice tracking into dreams. So I was talking about this 4D canopy is this, this labyrinth of charges of mental emotional field, and within it, there are doorways to higher dimensional realms. That's what dreams are. So we track dreams. We look for the doorways in the dream that take you to a higher dimensional realm, or say more interdimensional level of your own being. So tracking is different than just psychic knowing, and it's different than like channeling or anything like that. Not that there isn't some psychic knowing involved, because there's times when you're tracking something and your knowing kind of like kicks in to what's the next step forward. But I think that's the best way I can describe it. We have some really great trackers in our program. They are really, really great. And it also helps you with relationships with spirit, with beings in the invisible realm, because you can be sensitive to the calls and translate the messages that you get and stuff like that. All right. Carol says, how do you feel the world is doing? Well, I think a lot of people are in crisis mode. I think a lot of people are in crisis mode. People are really getting hit balls to the walls on a lot of levels. And I mean that pun. I also see miracles happening in the sense of breakthroughs for the people in the Starseed movement and the Wayshower movement. Massive keys of empowerment have opened up and are coming forward. And that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. You see, because I get the benefit of seeing multiple perspectives of dreamtime, right? So there's more to come. There's like this massive shift there's this massive shift that has happened in this outer nesting doll of our being, and now it's trickling down into our here and now, right? That's what's happening. And I know when things are laser on board, because the feedback loop I have is absolutely instant. I was in a realm that was new to me, and I had a thought, and it was a questioning thought. And then as soon as I was, as soon as I was out of that state and back into my daily world, I had a feedback loop to confirm that thought that I had when I was in that realm. But I was here in the 3D that the message came. You see what I mean? So amazing things are going on. I feel like if we get enough people together that can agree to a particular resonance, to a particular vision for our planet, that it's absolute, it's going to happen sooner than later, but we need to get those people together, right? We need to get the people to agree. We need to find, and not a kind of compromise where no one's happy agreement. I'm talking about that truly is in resonance with the yes for life. That's the truth for Pachamama right now. That's that, let's see. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Dear Sister Milana. Hello, darling. She says, recommendations for children, Starseed School, mystery schools. Yeah. Well, Rudolf Steiner founded a really cool school system, the Waldorf school system. Really depends where you are, because in like in Colorado, in the affluent areas of Colorado, there are lots of opportunities, lots of different kinds of educations. There's Montessori, there's the Waldorf. There's also these outdoor schools. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like everything they do is outside. The star seeds are made for this world, even though it seems like they're not. So the biggest thing is just protect them when they come to places that are asking them to like shut down in order to exist. You know what I mean? Like really just do that sort of thing. Homeschooling can work if you are, or if you have a situation. It doesn't have to be you. And there's these moms getting together, having homeschooling groups where they all divide, where 5 mothers will divide the task for 10 different families, right, to educate the kids. There's several of those groups going on, and you can find them on Meetup and stuff like that. I think if I was a parent of school-aged kids at this time, that's probably the way I would go, because controversy is everywhere, and the larger school system is really going through crazy, crazy times right now. And so I can't really say if Montessori would be the right way or the Waldorf would be the right way, because in Boulder, oh my gosh, there was a Waldorf school. I think it was a Waldorf school. President or vice president, someone higher up in the school system, was like found guilty of being a predator. He was abusing kids. So it's like there's crazy stuff everywhere, and there's a lot of balancing that needs to happen. Reharmonizing needs to happen in the subconscious of humanity. So I don't imagine any place would be completely, you could guarantee none of that would happen. Circling back, these star seeds are made for this world. They're here for a purpose. So, let them have their experience, decide the path, and let them have their experience, no matter how rocky it might be. It's rocky experiences that really still make human feel, helps humans, toughen up. And I don't mean toughen up like trauma ways. I'm just talking about, they can trust themselves because they've seen themselves through adversity. They've seen themselves through certain, challenging times. That's what builds confidence in a person, is having those kinds of experiences. So whatever gives them those kinds of experiences and enriching experiences. That reminds me, I'm supposed to send a link to somebody. All right. Outward bound experiences are also great too, because that's putting them in a really challenging situation where they need to rise to the occasion, and it's not with their mom and dad around, so that can be an interesting thing perhaps too. It's outward bound. Outwardbound.org, or there's these really challenging adventures that the kids go on, like a extended sailing trip, but they are this crew. They have to learn how to run the equipment and be on a crew. And then they have things like certain kinds of treks, survival treks, and where teamwork has to happen in order to get out of certain situations. It's a really well organized outfit that helps kids see how to work in a team, see how to work in a community situation, and step up into leadership if that's something, or see what good leadership is, stuff like that. I can't recommend enough. Those kinds of experiences are what make kids have confidence in the world, this crazy, crazy world that our kids are in right now. How do I know if I'm a multidimensional star seed? Well, you're here. What scene I'm thinking about is that part in Alice in Wonderland, and she's talking to the Mad Hatter, and she's like, "How do you know I'm crazy?" And he's like, "Because you're here." How do you? And he says, "Everybody here is crazy." All right, I'm cracking myself up there. Okay, so multidimensional. Every human on this planet is going that direction. So as long as you are saying yes to those moments of waking up to something beyond what you think is so, you're on your way. If you want to encourage it, engage your dream time. Start working with the elemental realm around you. Start spending a lot of time in nature, talking to Mother Nature, talking to the rivers, talking to the trees. You know what I mean? Start living a life that is multidimensional, right? Just start doing those things. Most humans would do those things simply because it makes them feel better, right? But multidimensionals do these things because we understand there's so much more going on than just that. Yeah, that part is great, but there's so much more happening, right? Yeah, I know it's an oversimplified answer maybe, but that's how I feel. It's like, really, if you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be able to listen to anything they have to say if you weren't already activated multidimensionally on some level. What happens is that when you get activated in ways that become instantly integrated, those are the times when you just don't see the world, like an event will happen, you can't see the world the same way ever again. That's an indication you're multidimensional, right? All right. Wholeness, integration, mastery. Thank you for the trekking explanation. That's crazy because I have been having telluric intelligence experiences that was like, why am I so interested in tracking when I don't even know what it is? Yeah. So it's a old shamanic. It comes from the more shamanic type mystery school understandings of things. All right, dear sister Laura. Hello, darling. Good to see you. That was at the Montessori school. My kids were there at the time. Very challenging. Okay. So that school leader that was abusing kids, that was the Montessori school, not Waldorf. All right. Thank you for updating me on that. Dear Joanne says John Holt is a fellow to read regarding education. He became a Montessori advocate as an educator and parent, and then became involved in the national homeschooling. Excellent. Cool. Yeah. I mean, homeschooling was a great option for my kids too. And because it was so organized, that it made it doable. If it wasn't so organized, homeschooling situation wasn't so freaking organized, I would never been able to have done it. So if he had something to do with that being so, thank you, John. For real. I decided to homeschool 2 different times in my daughter's lives, and that was in 5th grade. No, in elementary school, and then another time right before middle school, and then high school, and my youngest one for high school. And it was so cool because there was these programs. It was called the K through 12 program, where they send you the lesson plans, all the equipment you need. I mean, they send you everything you need to execute the lesson, even the follow-up tests. And it was such a beautiful thing. All I needed to do was read it over a couple of days before and be prepared. And they had some really great learning moments. So yeah, thank you, John Holt. All right. Hello, dear Sherry. Glad to see you here. All right. Milana says, wow, we have been having 4 days of M-class solar flare being blasted. Just saw an alert on my solar weather app. Wow. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? See, this stuff is getting pushed forward. There's no hiding it. There's no putting it under the rug, So here's the thing. These solar flashes, we all feel them. We all feel the anxiety and the pressure of them, no matter where you are in your path, because it's pushing up against aspects of our ego driver that's still in a place too dense and not able to touch these other realms that are opening up inside of us. This is really important to know because we can relate to the things that are happening in a different way. We can realize the intensity of it. Right? We can realize that it's happening because we're getting it at all angles. Now, since you're getting it at all angles and it's intense for you, you can do something to help it be more graceful. What can you do? That means you can start addressing the fire energy, the radiation energy, the masculine energy head on directly with the intent of alchemizing and witnessing and acknowledging everything that needs to be seen, needs to be witnessed and alchemized. Say yes to it and use your multidimensional way of perceiving to shift those frequencies. Work with the element of fire, candle gaze, Say you are stuck in an energy loop, you're in an anger loop or a blamey something loop, right? While you're in your fit that you're having, or maybe after you're having your fit, you can start taking that energy and giving it directly to the flames, asking it for it to be transmuted with that intent. Start moving that energy, work with that fire energy in a way that works for you versus in a way where you're managing your circumstances, right? This is the art of bringing your world into being, is taking that level of responsibility for yourself, taking that level of perspective when engaging these intense games. They're meant to make us feel trapped, these games. That's the whole point, is to trap us. If you know the secret of not getting trapped, then you can see and hold space and be witness to and be aware of these things. And meantime, you're engaging you're engaging it on a whole nother level. So you're not withdrawing from the world. You're allowing everything that's presenting in the world to bring you to alchemize, take responsibility, to grow. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so important that we do this, because that electromagnetic frequency in our brain will collectively resonate. Will collectively resonate with the frequency of alchemizing with fire. Instead of destroying with fire, instead of being destructive with fire, or destructive with our masculine energy, our thoughts, our emotions, blah, blah, blah. Right? Right. All right, darlings. So we have this ability. Why not do it? Flames, this is the season right now, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, because we're approaching spring. And a big burst forward, and fire is a major aspect of that. And if you don't harness the fire, it's going to harness you. So you get to decide. Just like the truth about dreamtime, you either take the reins and dream your world into being, or agree to live out the collective nightmare. Okay. And the nightmare is the crap that's just handed to you, and you're spending your life force energy putting out fires and managing your circumstances. Right. And that's the big truth of it all. All right, darlings. Thank you all for being here. It's so nice to sit and chat with you guys. If you are interested in the dragon play information, this is learning how to play with your dragon, meeting your dragon if you need to. Also exploring the different frequencies, how to track energy with dragons, how to clear energy with dragons, and how to do lots of other fun stuff. That's going to start in May, and dear sister Star Shine Stacy is going to be facilitating that. And keep an eye out, because I'm going to post the link for that in the comments of this video, but also in our various social media outlets. So remember, always, thank you guys. Love you lots. You are the ones that we have been waiting for. You guys are the miracle bringers. You guys are the miracle workers. Never forget that. Love you. Mwah, mwah. Bye.